You want to create. You love creating. You imagine yourself making art, maybe even calling yourself an artist someday. But every time you try to start, something stops you. I'm not good enough. Who am I to call myself an artist? It's already been done before. I need to get better first. You watch other artists put their work out there, and they make it look so easy. And here you are, simply waiting. Waiting for permission, waiting for someone to tell you you're an artist. But what if I told you that the only thing standing between you and being an actual artist is Audacity? And that no one ever gives you permission. You simply take it. Today, I'm jagua tattooing someone who understands this struggle intimately. A visual artist once labeled a vandal, arrested for challenging the system with his works. But instead of stopping, he doubled down, turning his rebellion into a thriving career. And now, he's one of Singapore's most prolific artists, working with the very institutions that once sanctioned him. In exchange for his story, I'm giving him a jagua tattoo, a piece of art that is as temporary as his early street works, yet woven with a message that stands beyond its time. Meet Sam Low. Alright, Sam, I am so happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I'm very honored, really.
I am a bit nervous because I don't really know what to draw yet.
It's okay, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Mm.
But okay, I have so much that I want to ask you today. But first, before we start off anything too serious, can you tell me what do you do for a living? A little bit more about yourself.
Okay, so I'm a visual artist that started out in street art and graffiti. Actually, more street art, but we'll get into that, I guess. Yeah, so I kind of got into this by accident. Started off in 2011, 2012. Got in trouble with the law. Did a bunch of like stickers and painted my grandfather road on some roads. Didn't know that I was going to be an artist because the first day they called me a vandal. Day two they called me a street artist. So had to figure that out. Now I paint a lot of murals. I do like illustration work, art direction, creative direction. Yeah, became legit.
Yeah, oh my gosh, that was something that I found so fascinating about you. I mean, I've known you way before you even know my existence because of your the episode of being arrested for street vandalism and all that. And I've always felt like you literally paved the way for industry in
Oh,
Singapore.
that's huge. That's
Okay.
huge praise.
Okay, like you're not the only person who paved the way,
Definitely
but I feel
not,
like
yeah.
like you were one of that iconic part of history that made people rethink actually what is art, what is street art.
Oh, thank you. That
And
means a
like,
lot.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. That was a crazy episode, huh?
Yeah. Can you tell me a bit more about why you even decided to do it?
Well, like back then, I mean, prior to doing any art, I was actually doing a whole bunch of things, trying to figure out what I was going to do in this world. I was working, studying, and I was running this publication called Recognition as well. So Recognition was a platform I started in 2008, where I documented Singaporean-based creatives from like artists, designers, musicians, and the like, put them all in one place, so they could like for ease of collaboration and find out more about each other. So I created that at a time when people were always looking outwards of Singapore for talent and everything. And I'm like, you know what? We have like so much going on here, and I want to show people that we do. So that was why the platform was born. Like it was the only platform that was offering like 100% Singaporean like content, where everyone else was like, there's a mix, you know. So yeah, I was like interviewing a lot of different people from like different walks of life, like in the creative side of things. And then that's when I started like my journey lah. I would say that has to be like the biggest thing that influenced my work as well. That led me to boil down like, all my observations and research. And I got into questions that I wanted to pose back to the public. And the first thing that I was really interested in doing was talking about what our culture is, because a lot of people are like, we don't have a culture, we're a very young city, and at the same time culture can be attributed to like our environment as well, and like our buildings are getting more homogenous, they're like going up and coming down real quick. And then what can we really call our own? So I was very interested in exploring this, and so I actually curated a group show with like 20 different artists. Yeah, it was targeting this question lah. And then I started having my own ideas. And when I did the stickers, which were the black and white circle stickers on traffic light buttons, that was at a time when I was really like thinking about this question of culture. So the thing that first brought me to that was the fact that everything was moving so quickly that we didn't really have time to really sit and think or look at our surroundings to see where we're at. And so the first sticker I did was called Slow the Fuck Down. It was a black and white circle sticker, and it was inspired by like the speed limit stickers on trucks. So that's why it's black and white.
That's so creative.
Yeah, thank you. And then as with like your first tattoo, you don't know where to put it, right?
Yeah.
So I was just walking around with this circle sticker, and then I was standing behind this lady at a traffic light button, and she was jabbing the button so many times. Then I looked at the circle sticker and the circle button. Now I'm like, hey, this one like can go there only, As I put the sticker like onto like the button, right, I realized that I was 1 cm away from making it fit.
Oh.
So then I was like, okay, I got an idea. So I went back, I edited the image to 10 cm, which is the size of the button now.
Yeah. Now everybody knows.
Now everyone knows it's 10 cm. Based on that interaction with that lady,
Yeah.
the first one was press once can already. And then it just gave birth to like 8 designs that night. Like press once can already, press until show, press teleport, press for money, all those different ones. Press across my grandfather road, also got, it's all this, like, it was just for fun. And but the thing is that I also believe in like the power of the subconscious, and like, if you just stew in all these topics and you really like think about them, it comes through in the work that you do and the things that you say. And I believe that that's how the works were created, and it just took one eureka moment to put them together. And I think that was my moment. Yeah. So yeah, I was motivated to do it because of that research that I did.
Yeah.
And at the same time, like, doing recognition, I was very much exposed to street culture. So to me, like, putting stickers out in public places and graffiti, street art, all these things are like part of the culture. I didn't really think too much of it. So to me, putting out stickers is just like normal lah, So that's why when it came together in this concept, it felt like it was right.
You felt like you would not get in trouble, basically.
No, I didn't care about that.
Wow!
I didn't care about that.
How did the police find you?
So the thing is, Instagram back then, right?
Yeah.
Like,
You posted it,
I did lah. I didn't think too much of it. I really didn't. No, the thing is that my Instagram, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't just showing my works. Back then, I was taking pictures of everything.
Okay.
So it could be an observation.
Yeah.
Like, but people knew also that I was making stuff for like recognition, but this is a completely different thing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what the odds lah, phone
Yeah.
lah, won't kena,
Oh my god.
So I just like, I didn't even caption it, I just put a picture,
Right.
That was, I think, the first time people started seeing it on IG, and back then IG was like a lot of people like also, like it was easy for things to go viral at the same time, and then so people were sharing it, because I started pasting them like a lot, like a lot of them outside in Singapore, and I gave them away as well.
Yeah.
And then when people saw it, they would take a picture of it and they would tag me.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, so I think that's how it like really gained that kind of traction. But the thing is, I also had faith that it's so small, not an issue. Viral, like around our group only, that kind of thing, it wasn't like a big deal. But I realized how big a deal it became when it got on the newspapers lah, like in like under a year.
And this is like proper 12 years ago, before social media even was
Really
anything big.
like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you do the My Grandfather Wrote spray stencil
Yeah.
at the same time also?
A year after, less than a year after. Yeah, because I was bored.
Wait, you were caught for the stickers?
I wasn't, I was caught for Grandfather Road.
Oh.
And then the stickers came as like part of it, because they came to my house, like 5 or 6 plainclothes police came to my house and they found the stickers as well. So I like,
Oh.
Yeah, that's how secure and safe I thought I was.
Oh, no wonder.
Because really, like, I was making all the measures to like not be discovered with like, the logo and everything.
Yeah.
I didn't understand, obviously, like, how much an impact social media would make at that point in time. I was doing the stickers, giving them out, putting them on like different surfaces. I'll go skate and I'll go cycle, and then at the time I stop at the button, I'll paste one.
Wow.
Then like I think it was towards the end of the year of that year, and I was like, wow, a bit sian already. And then I was talking to my friend, then he was like, we were behind this car that was, this jaywalker or like this car taking at that time. And I was like, hey, your grandfather rode. Then I'm like, hey, wait, got idea, you know?
Yeah.
So I went to go and buy like corrugated plastic and like printed out like the text on paper. Then I used that as a stencil and I cut the plastic into to make a stencil lah.
Yeah.
So that was like the first grandfather road stencil.
Wow.
No, actually the first one was very small. Then I painted it outside, right? Cannot see anything. That's why I'm like, fuck, I need to go big.
I need to create impact.
Yes. That's why the stencil became 2 meters. It was a 2 meter long stencil, 2.1 meter long stencil.
Wow.
Yeah. So when I made the plastic one, right, my friends were like, why don't you just make metal lor? I'm like, okay, I'll make metal one lor. So it became a big metal stencil that you could fold. And that was what I used to paint the streets in the CBD lah.
You chose the CBD also.
I chose the CBD.
Of all places.
Yep.
Highest traffic.
That's right. On a Sunday night, because no one wants to show up at the workplace on a
That's
Sunday
true.
night.
And do you pull like a Banksy, like cookie spray, then you just like...
Yeah. But we check all the cameras, whether got cameras and everything as well.
How did they find out?
The thing is, they never caught us red-handed. They never caught us on camera painting it either.
Yeah.
It was me and my friend Ants. We were just carrying this stencil around, covered in a cloth. They actually saw us walking with the stencil that was covered in cloth on the camera, and that's how they placed us. That was the only thing they had.
How long do you spend in the cell?
24 hours only. It's up to 48, so I'm quite lucky. But during that time, they were out gathering more evidence. So when they came back, I had like, I think 30 overcharges or more than that.
30?
Yeah, quite a lot. There was a lot of charges. I was surprised myself.
How did it become 30?
30 plus. I don't know. They found
Or they
grandfather
charge you
road.
for each sticker?
Yeah. And each mark that I left. So there was Grandfather Road, which was I think about 7 or 8, I think. Then there was my grandfather building, which was a random one that me and my friend. He was like, "Hey Sam, got building there. You want to paint or?" I'm like, "Paint what?" Then he's like, "Paint grandfather building lah." Then I'm like, "But I don't." Oh, okay, sure. Bruh, that one's the most expensive mistake. You know all the road ones, right? The rectification, to fix that, right? It's just like a few hundred per road marking. They're building 3,005 Wow, I was like so annoyed because it's a private building. Then I'm like, then you know what's the best part? I went back to go and see, right? Do you only pay one rectangle over the whole thing?
You could have been like, I have to...
I do for you.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Oh
But
my gosh, you have to pay for all the damages now.
yeah. Me and my friend, we split.
Yeah.
We had like 8 different spots around CBD on the roads. And the whole point of doing that was so that when people came to work on a Monday, they could see it. Yeah, so that was to maximize the airtime before I got taken down.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's why I planned it to be as such lah. Yeah.
Is it very common then, right, to just go around and tag like graffiti, like art?
It's a culture. It's a culture. Yeah, I would say not as common as overseas.
Yeah.
Because of how small this country is and the amount of cameras that exist. At the same time, there are graffiti artists who are doing it still.
Oh.
Yeah, and back then as well, we have had like friends who have been arrested for it. Some they actually painted at the same spot twice, got arrested both times. It's then after that they're like, nope, not worth it to do it in Singapore anymore.
Oh,
Yeah. So
okay.
it's a bit different as compared to overseas lah.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you grow up with this culture?
I didn't. Not from young.
Yeah.
I was exposed to it in my early 20s.
Yeah.
So it was there that I was exposed to like different facets of like street culture. Yeah. So yeah, it didn't feel like anything different to me. It just felt like second nature, if I could say.
You were saying you got inspired to do all this because of your magazine recognition. That means you probably got exposed to quite a lot of different art forms.
Yes.
During this process of interviewing a lot of different local artists.
Yep.
Why do you choose to convey your messages to street art?
Because it's the biggest public gallery there is.
Wow.
Yeah.
You really wanted to be like...
Yeah. I'm not interested to talk to only certain groups of people. I want to talk to everybody.
Wow.
And that was why we chose the street, because it's the biggest gallery there is. People have no choice but to come in contact with it. But I also knew that the people that are in these spaces are people who effect change, who can think about things and talk about things, and that's how we can move things forward, right? And that's why I wanted these messages to be out in these spaces so people could interact with them. And I had to also think about their attention span, which is why all these things only like required like 3 to 5 seconds of your attention or less, because that's the amount of time I have with them, right? I wanted to make it funny as well, so it will lower the barrier to enter.
Yeah.
And at the same time, if you were to encounter like multiple pieces or see them online, you could draw the line between all of them and see what I was trying to talk about. So that was the whole point of it lah.
You're basically Singaporean Banksy
No lah.
who got
Who-
arrested.
who's not anonymous. That's it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Do you regret?
Not at all. Not at all. My lawyers asked me, like, they're gonna ask you whether you're guilty or like, you don't have to say you regret it. I'm like, okay, yeah.
Now in retrospect, I know it has caused you a lot of trauma, a lot of pain, and like many years of like depression. But looking back, you still choose to do it 100%.
Yeah, character development.
You don't have to suffer, Sam. I'm glad though
Yeah.
that you
yeah.
still have that in you.
Yeah. If not for that part of me, I wouldn't have known what I can go through. You know, that really informs, and that gives you that trust that you know how every time you go to a job interview, they ask you where you can see yourself in 5 years. And I used to be like, oh, okay, I have to know what I'm doing in 5 years. But after that case where everything was turned upside down, where I literally did that pivot of not like starting my own agency with all the plans that I had before I got arrested, like I realized life can change so quickly, and all you have is how much you can trust yourself to adapt. That is the biggest lesson I think I've learned in my life. Like you have to be able to trust yourself that you can get through this. As artists, right, we are vessels. We create, we channel, right? And if you are closed off, the world is so dull. You can't. It's a blockage that feels like you have no purpose. You know. So I don't want to live like that, and I've lived like that. I don't want to anymore. So I think that to me will be the challenge. It's really your relationship with yourself that's more important as compared to who you work with and all that shit lah, I guess.
100%. Because I feel like once you align yourself and you know yourself so well and you have such a great relationship with yourself, I think everything else will just fall into place.
Correct. It's like laws of attraction, and also you know your core, you know, and then if you don't, like you need to know your core to be able to trust yourself as well, you know?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. And I think a lot of us get very disconnected from that because of life.
Which is so sad, right? I think that definitely is something that you can still have an active choice over.
That is true. Yeah,
Yeah.
that one you can.
Yeah.
That one you can. And then the happiness, the contentment will come together with that, you know? So it's a byproduct in a way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. But it's hard work, lor, I feel.
It is lah.
Yeah. To
But
be
we should
so
not neglect.
honest.
We should not neglect that law.
Yeah.
I think the world moves at a pace where we end up neglecting that a lot.
Yeah.
Like we don't normalize taking breaks. We don't, even when we take breaks, we don't know how to take breaks. Sometimes we feel guilty for taking breaks. And also as freelancers, we are afraid of taking breaks because we might fall out of relevance, especially for the jobs that we do.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's hitting you,
real.
right? It's hitting you, right?
It's so real. But I feel like because I've taken sort of a very long break for the past 5 years, I feel like now I have enough data point to reaffirm myself in that it's okay to take super long breaks.
Yes.
Yeah. I
We should
think
normalize that.
Yeah, we catastrophize like the future in our own heads, but
Yes.
in reality it's not that bad. To me, I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna lose my relevance. But obviously to other people, you're like, oh, she's still doing a lot of things.
That is true. We don't see it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we really don't see it.
Yeah, that's true. We don't really give ourselves credit enough. That's the other thing.
Yeah, and I feel like we always have this misconception that we start from zero every time we take a break.
Yeah, it's true leh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we don't.
We're not starting from scratch again. We have to honor the fact that we have muscle memory from the past.
Yeah.
You know, we have been through enough lah. Like, no, okay, not
Yeah.
enough. We have been through things to
Yes.
like inform us of the decisions that we're gonna make.
100%.
Yeah. I think that's a kindness we have to extend ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think people also are afraid of people forgetting them, like forgetting me when I restart again from scratch. But I think maybe I think we belittle our own impact sometimes also.
Yeah.
Or maybe we're not so sure. Maybe to you, you're like, oh my god, I just love writing all these things, like challenging the rhetoric. But to people like me, maybe like as an outsider, at the point of time, I was not an artist yet, but I feel like I was like a shadow artist. When I saw you doing all that, I was just like, wow, so inspiring.
Thank you.
Yeah, even though everyone was like, I mean, the hate was quite a lot.
Yeah.
Also, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people were chiming in from like all sorts of different
Yeah.
perspectives.
Yeah.
But I'm always like rooting for you.
Oh, thank you.
You know?
That's so kind.
Yeah, I
Thank
remember
you.
seeing the interview of you, I think right after your arrest. Yeah, you were drawing a lot of mandalas. Somebody did a video interview of you. Is it CNE or something? Yeah, then you were just in your house because you're under house arrest, is it? Or like under probation at home. Yeah, and
I was
then,
drawing mandalas then?
yeah, you were drawing a lot of mandalas, and then you were just like telling
Oh.
the interviewer about how you fell into depression and how you're like now just like working on your art
Yeah.
and all that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, she's. And for now, I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Is
yeah,
she?"
yeah,
And
no,
I
no,
was
no.
like, she's still going.
It was rough. It was rough. I was really trying to balance a lot of things. Like on top of that, right? I mean, first day I was called a vandal. Second day I was called a street artist. And then for me, I had no idea what I was going to be. So and I've interviewed enough people to know that an artist, the term of being an artist is such a coveted, such a like respectful, like it's so high up there. How dare I call myself one for pasting stickers and painting the roads?
Oh my god.
You know, I had no idea what it meant to be an artist purely because like I also don't know what my medium was. I didn't know what my motivations. I mean, all these people have been practicing for years and struggling for the craft, and here I am, just like coming in doing this, and you want to call me an artist? Like, come on, you know. So that's why I took the sabbatical after the arrest, 2 years, to just learn how to sculpt, paint, draw, do all these things, and then really felt like, you know, hey, maybe this is what I could do, and that's why I really like just like doubled down on the work, and that art really saved me because it was the process that humbled me. You know, it's powerful that way, and that's why I've always believed in process other than end product. Yeah, I think that's the thing that a lot of people don't see as well.
It's so true.
Yeah, process is everything. You learn so much about yourself, about the craft, about there's so much. It's such a humbling experience. Not simply like transferring an image from point A to point B. It's the channeling, it's the flow, you know. It's all that. So yeah, I lost myself in the processes of like, you know, sculpting, painting, drawing, watercolor. I want to learn tattooing at one point as well.
I knew it.
Yeah?
I knew it. From your illustrations, I can tell.
Yeah, you can?
Yeah, you have
shit.
that perspective.
Oh, thank you.
Or maybe it's also because of the way that we need to express like the thing that we need to say.
I see.
Because we cannot like, we don't have an artist bio at the side all the time, you know,
Yes.
for all our artworks, even for the stickers that you go around.
Yeah.
So like, it has to be very succinct in the way that, like, the message that you want to send out.
Oh, I thought that was attributed more to the fact that the works that I created were in the streets. So we had to consider that already. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it had to be direct in that sense.
I forgot to even mention that you're self-taught.
Yes.
Yeah, you do not
Self-taught.
have any formal arts education.
No.
High five.
Oh,
Same.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We just go on vibes. That's powerful.
Yeah, I know. But I feel like you're also just so attracted to art and artistic people.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I love to know how like other artists think.
Why do you feel like the process is the most important to you?
I feel that there's so much growth, so much learning you can do about yourself and the craft, and it's like the most respect you can pay to it. It's a way of honoring like past traditions. It's a way of like honoring the art, the craft, the form, everything lah. You know. To me, that's why like process is so important as compared to the end result. I mean, the end result is what everyone sees at the end of the day, but you do not know like how much we put in to get to that point, how much of ourselves we pour into to get to that point, and there's that certain vulnerability that I really enjoy in that process of like experiencing like a sort of ego death in a way, you know, right? Like, you know, when you're really into the flow and the process, you don't really you push yourself, but it's a different kind of motivation as compared to, oh, I want to be the best. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To be very, very extremely honest. It's like, you know, I'm a commercial artist, do a lot of commissions. And as you know, they all have briefs, and like, you know, there's a certain level of like creativity you really need to like put out more of to circumvent or like, you know, to navigate certain like briefs and things like that. Problem solving basically. And sometimes it can really like be a strain, you know, take a toll on you. And so to me, getting lost in the process of like the illustration part and also the painting helps me to feel more connected to the work. So every time I try to make it more interesting and challenge myself by like, say, making more challenging technically. It can be many like challenges lah, you know, from like composition, initial sketches, concept, blah blah blah. But the other thing I like to do is to challenge myself technically. That means like, because spray paint is like my main medium.
Yeah.
So I want to try and be better at the control of the can.
Yeah.
So that means even like using my whole body, because we use our whole body to paint. This canvas is big. Whole body, okay, when I say whole body, right, means like we move together with the can.
Yeah.
You know, we don't just do this.
Yeah.
We don't just do this.
You will.
We move. So that means drawing straight lines all the way from one end to the other end. I don't breathe. Like just like try and keep it steady. I used to use like masking tape to do that, but now I'm trying to like freehand. You know, so that's how I try to like, you know, keep things like spicy, exciting, you know. Or like even drawing perfect circles. That's another thing as well. And yeah, one of the first things that I did as well, like the mural in India that I did, that was the reflections. So, okay, so fun fact, right? When I first started painting murals, I really was not confident in freehanding, or like, you know, I mean, I used to paint with the guys. We would paint like, you know, our sketches onto the walls. I'll do like letters, proportions, and everything was important because it's how you apply it, right? And that was the most I got, but the walls that we usually paint for jobs and everything are way bigger than that, and I was never confident of like how to execute or like do that. And so the first walls that I did, they were not painted walls, they was wheat pasted. So that means I'll make my own graphics and then I will paste them on the wall. So my first works were wheat pasted pieces, and then they became stencil pieces. So stencils basically, you know, you do the design, you cut it out, then you paste, and then you paint it out. So like I'll make tiles, and I was really exploring like Peranakan tiles and everything at one point. So I felt like there was more control in using stencil work because you don't really have to do like freehand large scale kind of thing. You can still control the size of the stencils, and you know, everything will still be uniform lah.
Yeah.
And then when I did this wall in India, I was like, I want to do the same tile work, but the wall is so big. It's like 30 meters by 10 meters.
Yeah. Oh.
And it was a really big wall. And I was proposing a tile pattern as well. And like my friend back then who was assisting me, she was like, this is going to be a very technically challenging wall because you have to make sure everything is the same.
And symmetrical.
Correct. And I was like, can one lah, you know? And like the method I was using was a projector.
Oh.
The thing is, before that mural, right, I was also doing like some murals, but I was using a projector as well. That was how we started out. I mean, some people started out lah. I certainly started that way. And there's always like this kind of like challenge with projectors in the sense that you also have to do keystone and all that, right? So that 30 by 10 meter wall, right, you know how many times you had to project? It was 8 times. And we had to make sure every line matched.
Wow.
We had to project over 3 nights. Yeah, because we just couldn't make it work. So hard. And you know what the best part is? I still had to freehand some parts. So that was a very technically challenging mural, only because I was using a technically challenging method, which would have supposed to have made my life easier, but ended up being something that was an eye-opening experience. And it was that mural that I'm like, you know what? If I can freehand a bit here and there, I should be able to do better the next one. So the next opportunity I had was the wall for Shake Shack at Neil Road. And that was the first wall I used the square method, where I drew 1 meter squares on the wall and I freehanded everything. I didn't use a projector at all. And that was like, wow, I can do this, you know? And it was amazing because it looked exactly like, you know, the sketch. And I was like, okay, wow, like I proved this to myself. I can do this now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's what I enjoy about the process. You see, you learn from every one of them, and then you apply it, and next thing you know, you can do it. Then you know, wow, I can do anything. You know what kind of feeling that is?
Yeah, it's so free.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the trust law. You don't trust yourself law.
Yeah,
That kind of thing.
it's so true. And you don't feel limited to express yourself or your art form in any way.
Exactly. I have control over it.
Yeah. Because you mentioned that you feel like you didn't really feel worthy enough to carry the label of an artist when you first got arrested. At which point do you feel like, yeah, I'm an artist?
It's not like, yeah, I'm an artist kind of thing. It's more of like it creeps up on you. And then I realized the first time I used it was out of convenience to explain to people why I did. I don't think I ever fully felt like I arrived. I only felt like I arrived through the convenience of having to put a label on something. But like if I were to really sit down and think what an artist stands for, I really, up to today, still hope that I do justice to it.
What do you mean? What does an artist stand for?
I don't even know how to describe it, but it's just like an innate feeling where it's your life. It's to see the beauty in things and to relay it out. Such a big responsibility, and also to live life open. It's a very spiritual thing, and it's a way to connect through our humanness, using our vulnerable parts to connect to somebody else in a world that's like this. What the responsibility of an artist is, that I feel that is a constant navigation that we have to do. And it's not simply just executing, it is living it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's my relationship to the term, at least. Yeah.
That is so interesting to me because I feel like you're describing yourself.
Huh?
Yeah.
Really, man?
Yeah, to me, the way in which you pour your voice into all your works, even in commercial works, you also strive to have that kind of expression.
Yeah, it's true.
You never really back down from the rebellious side of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you always have that bit of yourself in everything that you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
think that's our responsibility, you know?
yeah.
Yeah, you know, when you do your own works or like commercial works, you should still share a bit of yourself because that's how you connect to somebody else, ma. You know, rather than giving them what they want or whatnot. And then it's more interesting that way, right? That because it's about telling our own stories and other people's stories and showing that we relate and share this together is so much more powerful than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like you really embody like audacity of being an artist because I feel like to be an artist, right, you just have to have the audacity to do it.
True. You have to put it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not be scared.
Yeah, and not be scared. And
Yeah.
like actually, even if you are scared to put it out there, but you simply need to have the audacity to just
It's conviction.
do it. Yeah.
It's conviction.
Conviction in
Commitment. It's committing to the vision.
committing to the
I think it's committing to the vision.
craft.
The vision, the craft. Yeah.
I think as artists, right, I think there will be times where we feel like we have to say something
Yeah.
and we have to contribute to something in the society.
Yep.
And the medium sometimes it chooses us lah. I feel. And then in which we express ourselves because of that medium, because of the things, the circumstances that are given to us. It feels like it is my mission to just birth it
Yep.
sometimes.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, I get it. Oh my god. I struggled with this at one point because sometimes like limiting ourselves to the medium is very not just restrictive but also doesn't allow us, I mean in that same breath doesn't allow us to fully express the other ideas and concepts that cannot be realized through the usual medium. Like you take for instance, right? I actually did a few initiatives like over the years. They are not like my usual mediums, but I felt like they had to be done differently in order for me to realize them. So there was one point of time, you know, there had a lot of art markets around in Singapore.
Yeah.
And like these art markets, they ended up charging a lot of money to these artists for booths. And it ends up being an exploitative.
I was saying it was during that period where everyone kept everyone was obsessed with the hashtag support local.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you're capitalistic people. You're
Yep.
not supporting local.
Yep. I was also angry.
Yeah.
I was also angry. I hated it.
Yeah.
So what I did was I came up with the barter market. And I was running it for like about 2 years, I think. So what happens in these barter markets is that I traded for everything. The venue, the tables and chairs, every single thing that happened in the barter market, we traded for it. So
Whoa.
I used my artwork. Sometimes I would pull in favors and then I would do something for them in exchange.
Yeah.
just to make this happen. And the booths
Yeah.
were offered to the artists for free.
Wow.
And each artist, right, they could bring in, if they believed in the vision and
Yeah.
wanted to be a part of this, just had to bring their own craft down, like, you know, their own products or craft down,
Yeah.
come up with a list of things they would like to exchange in exchange for their work.
Yeah.
And people come down to the market and they can trade.
Wow.
No monetary exchange whatsoever.
Whoa.
Yeah. What started as an experiment became like, we ran like 15 to 20 like barter markets across different venues. We even did it with Straits Times at one point.
Wow.
And we came to a point where we even started paying our vendors.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You commissioned them to.
Yeah. We
Trade.
reversed the whole process.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my
we
god.
gave them welfare, transport. Like, it became like instead of them paying, we paid them.
I love that.
Yeah, it was
Oh my
really fun.
gosh.
And that was a period of time I was also like seriously battling my depression, to be honest.
Wow.
But that
Very
helped me
productive,
get.
you.
Yeah, huh? Like, I'm surprised also, honestly. Doing that actually helped me restore a lot of faith in people. It was through my vendors and seeing the people who go to these markets interact with each other that really moved me. I've seen people trade flying kicks for prints, rap battles for illustrations, bring the guitar down and sing songs for ceramics. It's not like the artists themselves had these in their list of things they're looking for.
Yeah.
Usually people come down, they don't really know what to do, right?
Then they offer.
Yeah, so it's like, what can you offer in exchange?
Yeah.
And then like, I can do this. And then artists will decide for themselves whether they want to accept it or not. And then it becomes a contract if they both agree.
Yeah.
And so that was the whole point of it. It was this boiling it down to what it is, the human, like, the connections, the interactions, that's not defined by money. Because value itself is subjective. Who are we to put the value in things that way? Because what you see is, this value is different to me.
Wow, you're
You know?
amazing.
No lah, too kind.
Yeah,
But it
no,
was super fun.
serious. It's so creative.
Thank you.
I've never heard of your barter market.
Yeah.
I'm so sad. I wish I was
It's
part of it.
okay. It's okay. That was a long time ago.
You should do it again.
I do want to, but wow, the running, it's quite a lot. Well, it'd be nice to bring it back one time. I realized that within myself, like, when I feel a lot about something, I don't vocally express it. Or like, I do it through my work or like initiatives like that.
Yeah.
And it's always got some kind of like, it's always reactive to a degree. Like, when I did the stickers, it was also a reactive thing. When I did this barter market, it was also reactive. When I did my last group show, I was burnt out, but I was still making because I wanted to show that other side of things, and it was themed on escapism. It was called Loci. Yeah, but there's always some kind of motivation somewhere. Like, and what my friend said to me is true lah. You're not burnt out. You're bored.
100%.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. It's how much you want to sacrifice for doing all these things. Because you also have to remember there is life outside of your work. You're doing a transition. You're going from a real life bird. Look, it's actually coming out from the origami form to have life.
Wow.
It's a different direction.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's your perspective.
That's my that's what I think. But what's your
interesting.
interpretation?
My interpretation? I'll let you know later.
Okay.
Yeah, but very sharp.
Yeah?
I was afraid that you couldn't tell what this is.
Yeah, it's origami. Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
origami tail.
Yeah, you know, when I was deciding what I want to draw for you,
Mhm.
my first inclination is a bird. And no matter how much I try to stray away from it, I still went back to, I just want to draw a swallow on you. It feels like it belongs on your hand. For some reason. Why do you keep choosing birds as your subject matter in your work?
Yeah, so I wanted to use these birds to talk about stories, and it was very much inspired by the desire for freedom. I mean, I know it sounds a bit cliche and cheesy, but the idea of birds, there's that element of freedom in symbolism in that sense. And I feel like all of us want to be free. It was actually that wall in India where it was talking about cause and effect. And each sparrow was actually a representation of ourselves. That we are free, and we are free to make decisions that are mindful of each other. So that's when I really went to like using bird as symbolism. And also like compositionally, it was a great way to show detail. It could take up space very well. Colors, I could play around with colors and everything through the feathers. And basically, it just felt like it was a very good form to express with. I don't do as many birds now.
Is it?
I don't I really don't. I've been doing like, in fact, the next sketch I'm working on, they have a lot more like animals. I actually really enjoy drawing animals. Yeah. I love drawing animals a lot. I do not like drawing human forms actually.
Oh my gosh. Actually,
Yeah.
I hated drawing human forms.
Yeah?
But because I know I'm bad at it, that's why I hate it. And I decided.
To get better at it.
Yeah, to
so you
double
won't
down.
hate it.
Yeah.
Yes, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Yes.
Sadistic.
No, I know, no, I'm like that too. Yeah. So I doubled down, but I still don't like it. So I'm just like, maybe I'll just like stick to what I like to do.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, a little dose of like that challenge when you feel like you need to kind of do it. It's fine from time to time. Like even if you are unsure of where you will be in 5 years, right? What would be some non-negotiables that you are so sure that you'll still be doing?
Integrity to the work and the craft. I'm sure of that. I mean, I proved that to myself like the last 13 years. So I'm sure I'll continue that mindset, non-negotiable. Process most important still. Living authentically, definitely still must. But my next season, I want to make work that feels more in line with my heart, to be more expressive that way, to show more vulnerability in that sense. That means pushing through concepts that reflect that through commission works as well. Because I feel that there is a lot of power in like commission works because of the amount of spaces that you can have access to as compared to your own personal pieces. And that way we could try to change the landscape a little bit more in terms of what could be accepted. Because right now it feels a bit, I wouldn't want to say one-dimensional, but it does feel a bit like that. And I want to show that with the works that we create, we could push the narrative a little bit more to show that humanness more. So that's the whole point of art, right? To relate, and especially in a public space, you should be relating to people more rather than communicating a brand narrative. So I want to go more in that direction.
Okay, I think it's done.
Nice. Oh my god, it's so good.
Yay, I'm glad you like it.
There's so much symbolism in it as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you want to know why I
Yeah.
did this for you?
Yeah.
Okay, so to me, right, I just wanted to draw a bird for you. I think it means freedom to me, and it represents that rebellion that you have, that spirit that you have, that is just untamable. And I don't think it should be tamed. Also, it should be roaming freely. And then I wanted to transition it to an origami because of the fact that you are self-taught. Yeah.
Oh,
Because you're a self-taught artist.
Yeah.
So to me, like having that paper was something that is like not important to both of us also.
Yeah.
I think that's what connected both of us. Yeah. So like the paper aspect is like, having that paper of recognition in our country that a lot of people highly sought after. Yeah, and then the lotus is, I don't know, I just felt like you represent the lotus so well. Maybe I'm inspired by the mandalas on your hand also. But I think it's really in the same vein of like rising from the dirt. Yeah, and going through like the different seasons. Yeah. And then the 5 different sparkles actually represent Singapore.
Are you kidding me? Oh my god! Oh, it's so cute, are you?
Yeah, I really think you shaped the Singaporean
Too kind.
narrative.
That's high praise. Thank
Yeah.
you. Appreciate it. Thank
Thank you so
much.
Sam.
Oh, it's so good.
Thanks
so
for
good.
coming.
Thanks for having me. This is a really big honor.
So honored to draw on you.
Likewise. Yeah. Cool.
That was such a fun time with Sam, and I hope you guys enjoyed our conversations as well. What really stood out to me was that even for this series, right, that I'm starting, I feel like I've been waiting years for people to validate the idea and for things to go into motion, and after like 5 years I finally took action, because this is also the year that I realized that I don't need anybody's permission to do things. That really resonated with what we talked about, because for Sam's case, he really drove home the fact that you simply do not need to wait for permission. You do not need to seek it. Permission is something that you simply have to give to yourself when you have something to say. And it made me think in a lot of ways, a lot of us do this, right? We're scared to put our art out because we're always waiting for permission, for people to validate it, or to wait for the right time. But then it never really is a perfect time. We simply need to have the sheer audacity to say it. Sam has really inspired me to really double down on action, just coming back home to myself and be so honest in my expression that permission is no longer relevant even. I don't have to seek any of it because the most important thing is remembering how I'm just a conduit for whatever that is passing through me. When I'm drawing, when I'm making videos, when I'm putting my messages out to you guys, however you guys will receive it, I hope it will be a good one. I would love to hear your comments and reflections in the comments down below. So take care, I'll see you in the next one.